Hello everyone, welcome back. We are finally live again. This day of March, we are going to talk about four very interesting topics that basically cover up 99% of most of the user research that you're going to do in UX design. And today we're going to be looking at four different awesome topics that I'm super duper happy to talk about, which are emotional journey maps, empathy maps, user journey maps, and user personas. Now, the reason we're sort of covering these really special topics is because A, it's really difficult to find a very clear explanation of all of this online, and B, I just wanted to take a moment to talk about all of these really interesting topics in UI UX design that no one really talks about, that no one really has clarity, especially if you're self-taught like me. You are probably confused 90% of the time at what any of these mean, and I feel like this is going to be the perfect video to get you started. All of these are basically templates that we've gotten from Figma community, from FigJam of Figma community, and it's going to be really fun to try to take a look at all of these different topics and try to break them down into simple pieces. So let's just get started. Let's just go. All right. So to get started with any of these, I feel like the first most basic point that you can start your user research journey from is going to be user personas. This is where things get interesting. So when you're just starting out with UX design, when you're just starting out with user research, user personas are the most simple first step you can take. So just to follow along to this video, to the way we're going to be doing things today, just click on plus, open up a new FigJam board, and you can just get started off of that. It's just as simple as that. Nothing complicated about it at all. Alright, and now that we have this sorted out, the first thing we're going to do is create a new user persona. So the way we're going to do that is we're going to go to the plus option and just search for user persona, and I feel like this is just the simplest thing you can do to create a user persona. And we're just going to take the user persona FigJam template and add it over here. I get the feeling that some people have where it's like you should make your own user persona, and you should, but in the very beginning when you're absolutely clueless, rather than being stuck on the blank page syndrome, I feel like it's just really easy to take the template, work with it, add a couple of points, and when you get comfortable with what this is in user research, then you can sort of get started with each of these individually. Alright, so let's just get started. So the very first thing that we're going to take a look at here is the different things that you get in the user persona template in FigJam. So it's this template in itself is good for identifying the needs of your users, so you can improve your product or service accordingly. You can use this from 1 to as many people as you want, and then there's just a bunch of quick tips, but I feel like all of these are going to be covered as we go through this video. So let's just get into the interesting stuff now. So the very first thing you need to do is add a name, and I feel like this is going to be the point where you're going to start entering actual user information into the user persona, and as we go about building this, it's going to become really clear why. So let's just get started. The first thing we can do is add a name. Let's add any name that we can think of. Let's do Maya Patel, the simplest name in front of me. And now this is going to be the archetype basic user that's going to be for your whole product or service. The next thing that I feel like we need to add over here is age. Let's do a simple age, 29. An occupation, which is quite important in this use case, is a freelancer who's let's talk about the occupation for a little bit. All right, so for this specific case, Maya Patel is a freelancer who has been freelancing for 2 years after leaving an agency. She loves to freelance but would like to get more clients. So let's just add a freelance. Hold up. Are we live? Yes, we are. Alright, so we are going to put it in an occupation which is going to be a freelancer. Very simple stuff, and I feel like this is going to be really relatable also to the people who are watching this. Alright, now we can add any location we'd want. Let's just do the simple Delhi, India, which is sort of web based. And now we're going to talk about a little bit of the extra information. So Figma templates basically always give you the more info options, and this is really important when you want to add certain information that's very relevant to the product that you're building. So for more information today we have, she left her agency job to do freelancing. She likes flexibility but struggles with stable income. So she left some more information that you'd want to enter here is she left her agency job, likes freelancing, but would like a stable income. And I feel like this is the case with most freelancers out there. Stable income wanted. All right. Another piece of more information that you'd want to put over here is she's tried job boards, networking, and cold emailing, none of which work. So a couple of things that you would add over here is has tried job boards, cold emails, and this is just coming together as we put it down. LinkedIn networking, and it hasn't worked. Which hasn't worked. All right, and now that we have this sorted out, so we have all of the facts that are related to this person in front of us, now we're going to be able to design the mindset of this person, get into each of the singular details that we have over here, and we're sort of going to get started from that point on. So now we're going to talk about the bio. Any information that's related to the user could be in the bio, and you could add lorem ipsum text here as well if you don't want to overload in the very beginning. So you can add anything you want over here. All right, and you can also add a couple of social media links. So for example, I would put the Behance link if she's a UI UX designer, just the Behance link, the Dribble link, and I'm just putting stuff over here just so you get an idea of the user that we're going to talk about. So you have your Behance link, you have your Dribble link, and then you also have your other portfolio link if there's any portfolio website. Alright, so now that we have all of these sorted out in front of us, we're also going to talk about the personality of this user. So this is where things get kind of fun. So you can basically choose any of these that you would want, but this becomes a very, very clear defining factor when it comes to the user interface. So when this person is introverted, it automatically makes sense why they would have trouble with networking people. And if they're a little bit more creative than analytical, then a freelance designer actually makes sense. If they're busy versus they're time rich, so I feel like in this case they are time rich, but in terms of money they want a little bit more stable income, and that has to be in the back of our minds always while designing. Are they messy or are they organized? I feel like everyone who's a creative almost always struggles from the squirrel brain syndrome, where you're always going after one thing, forgetting the other. So messy can be a part of this, and that can still be fine. Are they independent or are they a team player? I feel like from a freelancer's point of view, independent is the more highly likely scenario, and you could interview a real person for this as well, and independent is going to be what we're going to put for this one. The passive and active options which are available. So I feel like for this specific use case, we're going to put in active because of course freelancers have to be really, really active and on their feet. And I'm just talking about any example for now. Is this safe or a risky kind of person? I feel like if someone just quits their agency job to go freelance on their own, they are a little bit risky, and we can safely assume that about them, especially in this imaginary person. And you can add any image here that you'd want. I feel like I should get an image, but this image is also fine. It's completely fine. And this is where things actually get interesting. So we're going to talk about the user's real interests. So the user definitely has some interests which are, hold on, are we live? Yes, we are. So I feel like the user can have a couple of interests which can include designing, which is what they're doing, designing UIs, then again I feel like another interest could be UI UX trends, because most designers would want to know trends that are going on and which are latest. And also another interest could be building a strong brand online. So building a strong brand online, this is again a very, very hoped for option when it comes to freelancing for most designers. Now, then we're also going to talk about influences. What are the factors that are influencing them? Designers like Pablo Stanley and Femke. So designers, of course, the legends Pablo Stanley and Femke. Again, another factor that could be influencing them is online design communities such as Dribbble and Behance. So Dribbble, Behance awards are stuff that makes not only designers jealous, but also really, really interested in what we're doing. And all of these are triple alphabet things. All right, the next influence that they could have now is freelancers who've successfully scaled their businesses. So other successful freelancers could also be a factor that's influencing them. All right. Whoops, I feel like I did a terrible job writing that down. This was Dribbble, this was awards, and let's do etc., because many other such design communities do exist. And then another influence that they could have is successful freelance designers, because this is where the current user is struggling, right? This tool is FigJam, which is a part of Figma, and it's perfect for user research. EWS asks, so I'm answering that question. Another couple of goals that the user could have are securing a consistent, high-paying chain of freelance clients. So now we're going to talk about the goals of this user, right? So what are the goals a freelance designer could have? This could be securing recurring clients which pay highly. Another goal that this person could have is improving their personal branding and marketing. So this is again a very, very sought out goal for people who are just starting out freelancing, improving their personal brand. All right, another thing that they could have as a goal is becoming a recognized expert in UI UX design. So again, this is again a very, very sought out goal as well, becoming a recognized expert in here, right? So with that, we've basically figured out what the interests are, what the influences are, and what the goals are for this person. Now we're going to talk about the needs and expectations, because this is also very, very important for this user. So from our product or service, this user is needing or expecting certain things. What are the things that they are needing or expecting from our product or service? They are expecting a predictable client acquisition system. So they want a predictable, not something that's flimsy, not something that's here today, gone tomorrow, a predictable client acquisition system, right? Because they want these clients to be coming every single month, every single week, and they don't want them to go away. They don't want our platform to go away. So predictable client acquisition system. Another thing that they could want is a way to showcase their work effectively, because when you want clients to come in, clients have to firstly trust you to come in, and in order for them to trust you to come in, you need to have a clear system to show off your work, right? To show off your work. Hold up, my typing is poor at best, but anyways, another need and expectation that the user could have is clear guidance on pricing and negotiations. Every single one of you who has freelanced knows that when you're freelancing, when you're just starting out, getting a couple of clients and getting them to get the right price, getting the right negotiation becomes very important. So tips on pricing and negotiation could be a good want, right? Negotiation. All right, so these are the needs and expectations. Now, another factor that we're going to talk about in the user persona itself is what are the motivations of the user. And this is why a user persona is so important. When you have clearly mapped out every single thing that this user thinks, needs, wants separately, now you're designing an actual product which is solving real problems, which is actually able to pay you money instead of just being confusing and beating around the bush. So what are the motivations of this person? The motivations could be financial stability and independence, right? So financial stability is the motivation for this person. Another motivation that this person could have is the ability to work on meaningful projects. So ability to work on meaningful projects. Another thing that the user could have as a motivation is freedom to set their own schedule, which is the reason most people take up freelancing. Freedom to decide their own schedule and avoid burnout. To decide their own schedule, right? So now schedule. All right, so with that we've basically told ourselves and others on the team what the interests are, what influences are, what the goals are, and what the needs and expectations are, and most importantly what the motivations are. And now we're going to get to the sixth and most important point, which is pain points and frustrations. So let's talk about what the pain points are that this user is currently having, and this becomes a really important part of your actual user research, because now when you have the pain points and frustrations that the user has, now you can actually design a product or service that is solving those specific problems, and now you're able to charge the user instantly. So this is why pain points and frustrations really important. Pain points and frustrations that the user would have is inconsistent income and unreliable clients. So either the clients are running away or the income is just not clear, right? So inconsistent income is a problem. Another problem is unreliable clients. Another problem that the user could have is struggling with self-promotion and outreach. And this is such a common problem for just beginning freelancers, struggling with self-promotion, right? So with that, we've basically mapped out every single thing of interest to us as the person who creates the product or service that solves this user's problem. And I know people love to hype a good user persona, people love to hype all of these weird and complicated UX design concepts, but if you wanted to know what user personas are, this is a good starting point. Now if you want to take this further, I would recommend just clicking on this button and changing this image, replacing this image. But basically, I feel like we've just started streaming. Within 15 minutes, we've figured out everything you need to know in the beginning of a user persona. This is all about user personas, nothing else. Like, you can obviously increase as much as you want, but this is user persona. Number two, the second thing that we want to talk about is user empathy maps. So this is going to be a very interesting topic as well. I'm sort of opening up my notes because, again, these are deep topics. We're trying to simplify them as much as we can. Empathy maps. Empathy maps are really important for a lot of purposes. Let's just go down here, just scroll in FigJam, click on plus, and you're going to search for an empathy map. And then we're going to talk about what an empathy map is. The templates that Figma actually provides you are actually quite good. So if you just add them over here, you're going to get a really good level of clarity in terms of what an empathy map is. Let's just get this guy over here and we're going to drag this in. All right, now let's talk about empathy maps in user research. Empathy maps are good for capturing your users' behavior and attitudes in a visual way. So with an empathy map, you are now able to figure out what the user is going to do next. And this is sort of like mind reading. So this is going to be really fun. If you are able to do an empathy map well, you are reading the minds of your users. You are able to tell what the user does next. What more could you want as the person who's building this software, as the person who's designing this software? You can also prioritize the pains and gains for your users. So before the user actually runs into the problem, as a UX designer, now you're able to tell what their next step is going to be, what their next pain point is going to be, what their next gain point is going to be. When you have that, you are an invincible UI UX designer, right? This is why this is so important. Let's just jump into it. You can read these tips if you want, skip them if you want, doesn't matter. This is the more important stuff that we're talking about. Let's start with the name. So of course the name is again going to be Maya Patel. I want to use the same example over and over again because you are able to make sense of things really easily this way. All right, the age that we're talking about, this person is 29. The person is living in a large metropolitan city. That's fine. Has a busy work schedule, works out a lot. You know what? So the person that we're talking about is living in a metropolitan city, has a busy work schedule. Instead of works out a lot, which is what the template gives us, this person is working late hours as a freelancer. And that defeats the purpose of being a freelancer, because if you can't decide your hours and if you can't have a schedule that is anti-burnout, what's the point of being a freelancer? Works late hours as a freelancer. And another point that we're talking about is they are struggling with inconsistent income. So right here in the more info section, we're talking about struggling with inconsistent income, right? And now you can add a little bit of a description if you want, or you can just leave it at lorem ipsum, doesn't matter. I'm just going to skip it for now, just to get to the more interesting stuff. This is an empathy map, and you're going to see why this is so powerful in just a bit. Alright, so in the very beginning, you see a couple of things that we're going to characterize our user Maya Patel as. What are the things that this user hears? What are the things that this user sees? What are the things that this user says and does? What are the things that the person thinks and feels? What are the things that are the pain? What are the things that are gain? Let's start with hears. What is something that this person hears? As a freelancer, I would imagine, as I've heard a bunch of times, people ask us to work for free, work for exposure. So this person hears, can you work for exposure? For exposure, which is a fancy way of saying, can you work for free? Which is quite terrible, right? The second thing is other freelancers which are discussing their big wins and struggles. So if you're a freelancer who's struggling, this Maya person is a freelancer who is struggling. They are also in the industry and hearing about other freelancers, big clients and wins. Big clients and wins. Another thing that this person is going to hear consistently is advice from YouTubers, podcasts, and design communities about pricing, niching, and client outreach. So worthless advice, which is, believe me, YouTube is full of worthless advice, not including this video, because this video is teaching you an actual skill. I have the right to defend myself over here. I'm not telling you, do this and you'll get $1 million in 15 seconds. I'm giving you real steps to get there, right? Worthless advice from YouTube and podcasts, because this is another source, right? The next thing, so this is the stuff that the user hears. The user hears from the clients, can you work for free? The user hears from other freelancers about their big wins and their big clients. The user hears from weird gurus online worthless advice about pricing and niching and all of that stuff, right? What are the things that this user sees now? This is also very, very interesting. This user sees social media posts showcasing high paying freelance success stories. So this happens so often to struggling freelancers. You see social media posts about successful freelancers stories, right? So you're always hearing these stories of this person did this and within 5 months of being self-taught landed $10 million and stuff like that. So you're always hearing these larger than life, weird, big win, 1 in a billion sort of stories, and that is a huge factor that becomes really demotivating really quickly. By the way, if you want to get demotivated, I know I'm talking out of school, but just go to LinkedIn. It's really demotivating. But my LinkedIn recently has a lot of jokes, so that might lighten the mood a little bit, and also talks about UI UX design. So follow me there. With that said, what is another thing that this person sees? This person also sees job boards flooded with low-paying gigs and high competition. Raise your hand if you've been in the freelance industry and you've gone to Upwork and Fiverr and you've seen all of these huge job descriptions that are only paying $5, and you also have people from a different third world country, a place where the value of that skill isn't as high, bidding for lower than what the client has put down. So this is also a really common thing that happens. Job boards with low paying gigs and a race to the bottom. So this is basically a race of who can do it for the least amount of money, a race to the bottom. And these job boards are full of all of these things at any given moment. Another thing that the user sees is UI UX trends, which are constantly changing, requiring this person to stay updated. So as a UI UX designer, you always need to be updated with what's the new thing going on, right? So trends are ever changing, and sometimes you don't know what a trend is, or you know what a trend is and you don't have the clients to implement it on, right? So both of those things can put you in a bad position. What are the things that this person says and does? Now we've heard of all of the different bad things that this user hears. We've heard of all of the different bad things that the person sees. Now the question becomes, what are the things that this person says and does? This person says, I need to update my portfolio every single weekend, because every single weekend there's a new trend, every single weekend there's something new happening, and this person has still yet to land their great clients, right? So they feel the need to update their portfolio every week, which is actually really, really bad for you, because you're sort of burning yourself out every weekend. Another thing that this person says and does after the bad hearing and seeing stories is this person feels the need to regularly apply for gigs and respond to client inquiries, even ones that are bad. So regularly applying and replying to bad clients, people who are just giving you bad offers, the person who's deserting you, ghosting you, the person with whom obviously a person from the outside would say things are not going to work out with them, regularly. Alright, another thing this person says and does is tests different pricing strategies and outreach methods. So this is more of what the person does. This person is always unsure of how to land the perfect client, how to get the perfect pricing. So they're always sort of struggling with getting the right pricing and getting the right system of pricing and outreach strategies, right? So sometimes they're cold emailing, sometimes they're going to a job board, none of which is working. Getting the testing the weirdest pricing and outreach ways, and it still doesn't work. So it's still bad at this point. Next, we're talking about what this person thinks and feels. This is really, really important. This person thinks about, am I charging too little? Am I charging too much? Uncertainty about pricing. What is another thing that this person thinks and feels? This person also thinks and feels excited when there is a good client, but stressed when projects pile up. So this person gets excited when they do get a good client with a client, but work overloads make them demotivated and make them feel burnt out. So that's also a very, very common problem, because quality of clients is not there, right? Another thing that this person thinks and feels is they're constantly worrying about the long-term sustainability of freelancing. So there's always the worry of long-term sustainability of freelancing. This is also something that always happens. So these are the three things that this person is thinking and feeling. Let's also talk about the pain points. What are the pain points? One of the biggest pain points of freelancing for this unsuccessful freelancer at this point is inconsistent income. I just want to get this across as loud as I can. Inconsistent income kills so many people at this point. Another thing that is really, really weird is unpredictable workloads. 1 month you're absolutely bombarded with work, the other month you have nothing to do. Unpredictability of work. Another thing that is a pain point for this user is clients ghosting or underpaying. So ghosting, which is deserting, or underpaying clients. This is the 3 pain points. Let's also talk about the gain points. Another gain point that this user has is freedom to choose projects and set their own schedule. So now this person also has a gain point, which is freedom to choose their how can I not type there? This is embarrassing. Their projects. And another gain point that this user has is personal growth and skill improvement. So let's talk about that. Personal growth. So in a company, sometimes another issue can arise, which is you're set in this structure and you have to work in this structure. Even if you want to increase your skill set from only UI UX design to front end, you can't do that because you've been hired for the role of UI UX and now you can't transition to front end easily. I've got these queries on this channel as well. Personal growth is easier as a freelancer because you can automatically, instead of just saying I'm a UI UX designer, now you can say I'm also a front end designer, right? So personal growth and skill development is easy. Another thing that this user has as a gain point is the potential to scale freelance business to steady income source. So they can automatically now, without having any restrictions, any managers and stuff, they can scale business up, which is a good possibility. Business up without anyone holding them back. Good point, right? So with that, we have basically figured out through an empathy map the bad things that this person hears, which is, can you work for exposure? Other big client wins and gains this thing, so now you are a competitive loser compared to the freelancer. Worthless advice comes from podcasts and whatnot all the time. And then you also see, as this unsuccessful freelancer, the social media posts about other successful freelancers, job boards with low paying gigs and race to the bottom, trends which are ever changing. You also now say, I need to update my portfolio every weekend, which is not that good. Regularly applying and replying to bad clients, which is also not that good. Testing the weirdest pricing and outreach page, which is also not very good and very reliable. What is something that this person thinks and feels? They are uncertain about the pricing. They're excited when they get a client, but overloaded and feel burnout when they get too much work. They also worry about the long-term sustainability of freelancing. Let's talk about the pain points. The pain points are inconsistent income. There are also unpredictability of work, ghosting and underpaying clients. Let's also talk about the gain points. Gain points are freedom to choose their own projects, personal growth and skill development, and that they can scale their business without anyone holding them back. They can work on their own schedule, right? With an empathy map, we've just talked about the different ways, and basically if you notice over here, you can just select any one of these, copy and paste them once again, and then change their text, and you have a lot of space here to do that as well. So you can add whatever you want to. The point is, you can add as many here and sees, says and does, think and feels sort of points. An empathy map basically allows you to get into the shoes, have an extreme amount of empathy for the user that you're designing for, and now when you know what they say and does, when you know objectively what they think and feel, now you're able to quickly predict what they're going to do. When you know what their pain points are, you are instantly able to design for that pain point, and you're instantly able to build a product that scales, build a product that pays. So this is why an empathy map is super duper useful. This is a simple explanation, but this is the simplest crash course for empathy maps. So if you like that, make sure to like this video. Let's go to the next topic that we want to talk about, which is The next thing that we're talking about is an emotional journey map. Absolutely. Go to the bottom, click on plus, and search for an emotional journey map. Journey map. Wow, I cannot type. Let's get an emotional journey map. While it does that, I need to drink water, because who doesn't? "4K capturing of me drinking water." This could become such a meme. Such a meme when the day is right. Anyways, we're back and we're talking about emotional journey maps. This is really, really useful to understand your customers and how the product flows. So before this, we've understood the user's persona. We've understood what the empathy was from the point of view of the user, what the whole world was like from the point of view of the user. And now we can understand how the product flows with the customer, right? So now that you know who the customer is, now you can think about how to design a product that works with the customer instead of against them. You can also identify opportunities for improvement, because you can now tell the mood of the user, and you can also align your team accordingly. With that said, let's go and design an emotional journey map. Look at me messing things up. All right, let's talk about this user first. What is the name of the user? If anyone is here for a couple of minutes, can you let me know what the name of the user is? It is, surprise, surprise, Maya Patel once again. We are not leaving this user, are we? The age of this user is 29. The occupation is a freelance UI UX designer. Freelance UI UX designer. The location is Delhi, India. right? I'm sorry, I'm not capitalizing this stuff. Forgive me, grammar gods. Don't beat me up. Anyways, this person's background is they've transitioned from a freelance agent from a full-time agency to freelancing 2 years ago, and is now enjoying the flexibility and creative freedom, but struggling with high income, right? So they're coming from an agency job. They've transitioned 2 years ago and want consistent income, enjoy working on their own schedule. What is the scenario that this person is encountering with our product and service? Scenario is Maya is looking for a structured approach to land clients more efficiently, and she has tried networking on LinkedIn. She has tried places like Upwork, but cold emailing has never worked and results have been inconsistent. So she's considering purchasing a course or a tool that helps freelancers like her build a steady pipeline of work. So what this person is struggling with is getting clients, and what they want in this scenario is a tool, course, or subscription. So they are willing to pay us to land a tool that helps them get good clients and consistent clients. So consistently good clients that pay much, right? Motivation. In a few words, what's motivating this person? Let's talk about what's motivating this person simply. So basically, she wants financial stability while maintaining the freedom of freelancing, and that's what's motivating her. So she wants financial. This is why they'll subscribe to you, right? Financial stability while working on her own schedule. What are the concerns that this person has? Let's talk about primary concerns. They're worrying about investing in a tool, product, or service that isn't good enough for their money, that won't deliver success but just gives out empty hype. Also, she's concerned about even if she is good enough to be a freelancer in the first place. So their concern is investing in a bad hype-based product, and they're also struggling with imposter syndrome, because of course a lot of bad experiences will do that to you. What are the feelings that they are bringing into our journey? So what is the brain mindset with which they are coming into the product? Are they happy? Are they sad? Basically, for Maya, she is hopeful but also has her doubts, right? As she should. She is hopeful but also frustrated with the string of bad clients that she has got. Hold up, let me correct the grammar because we don't want to make the grammar gods mad. What is their goal? In a few words, let's talk about their goal. Their goal is to create a steady source of income to attract high-paying clients without relying on job boards. Steady source of, because this is the thing with job boards. People from other different places where the same exact skill has much less value are also over there, and job boards mostly become a race to the bottom in the freelancing world. Steady source of income without relying on job boards. This is very, very important to us as a goal. And now we're going to talk about, hold up, you know what, you can just get rid of the gray boxes if you want to, because this is just going to be really, really simple without them as well. Let's now talk about what this flow is. So the name of this flow goes over here, and this flow is going to be called the freelancers emotional curve, because of course we're going to talk about that. Freelancers emotional curve, right? Because we're going to talk about all of the different feelings and experiences this user goes through while working with our app. Before we get started, I want to talk about what an emotional journey map is. An emotional journey map is going to take us through the process of working with our app while navigating our own emotions as the user. So now that in the last two, we've understood what the user is thinking and what the user is feeling, now we're going to design a process where they're flowing through our app without getting too angry or too frustrated to just leave, right? This is just basic damage control. And the first thing that the user is feeling is a mix of curiosity and skepticism, right? Hold up, let me just get you started off on that. So firstly, let's also talk about these numbers. So this is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. This is very, very happy, this is very, very sad, and everything else is in the middle. So let's talk about the action and task first. So this is where the user starts at. The action or task that elicits a positive response. So what is the action or task that the user is doing? Landing on the home page of a client acquisition tool and browsing the features. So they're just landing on the home page of a client acquiring or acquisition tool or course. What are they thinking and feeling at this point? They are hopeful that this method works, but they're also skeptical of whether it's going to work. So skepticism is also a quality. Skeptical of the efficacy. Wow. I just pulled the word efficacy from out of my mind. This wasn't even written anywhere. Well, good job, Veera. This is amazing. Anyways, so now that we have in our thinking and feeling section hope, but also skepticism. Do you spell skepticism with a K? Wow, I just do not know. Anyways, now that you have hope and also skepticism, this turns your user's card from very, very happy to slightly skeptical, right? So this is happy but also doubt in their head, and we're going to change the color of the card just so we have a clarity of that visually. So this is going to be light green, which is fun. You know what, this is going to be light green. Let's do this at green, because of course we're starting from the bottom. Anyways, so this is where the user is starting at, very happy and hopeful but also skeptical on whether this is going to work. This is where we're starting at. The second thing is that they're doing is, now that she is hopeful but also skeptical, what's the next thing the user is going to do? The user is going to now go ahead and search, and I'm just working with the Figma cards over here. Now the user is going to, as she should, check the reviews and testimonials and case studies from other freelancers who've used this tool. So now she's going to check the reviews and testimonials to see if there's any actual social proof, if it has worked for other people or if this is just a fake product. So to reduce her skepticism, she's going to look for reviews and comments and social proof. What is the thinking and feeling while going through this? While doing this, these designers have had the same struggle as the user and now they're thriving. Maybe this could work. So now that she's checking the reviews, she's seeing that other people have had, I'm going to get into comments at some point, definitely. Other people with the same struggles got their problems solved. So their problems solved, right? So this is good for us. So now that she has seen actual real results, you know what? I feel like now that she has seen actual real results, she is going to be happy, and I feel like I messed up somehow. This one is sad. I just forget these things all the time. This is sort of hopeful but skeptical, but when you're going ahead of that, when you're checking the actual reviews and testimonials, this is the point where the user is going to become slightly happy that other people with the same struggles got their problems solved, right? This is where I sort of reverse the whole thing. Don't reverse it. Don't make the same mistake I did. Right? And now that you have this person hopeful and excited, what's the next action or task that they're going to do? They're going to click on Enroll Now button to fill out the payment details and complete the purchase. Now they're going to click on Enroll Now to complete purchase. This is what we want as the designer, as the developer of this product or service. What is the thing that the person is thinking or feeling now? Now that money is actually going from the account, they're worrying about what if I wasted my money, but also they're reassuring themselves that the only way to grow is to invest in myself. So a thinking and feeling part that could happen here is so something that they could be thinking about right now is, what if this is a waste of my money? But another thing that they could be thinking about is, you can't grow without investing in yourself. Right? So these are the thinking and feeling parts of the user, and it's at this point that they'll actually be at number 3, which is they're anxious but also they're committed at the same time. So both of those thoughts can be here in the same moment at the same point of time, right? The next thing that happens with us is, and we're going to click on plus and get a new one with us, is, I feel like this is going to go over here. The next thing that happens with this user is, you know what, if you want to copy the format, you can just click Control C, go up to the top and add up this to the Control V panel as well. What's the next thing that happens? The next thing that happens is she applies a strategy from the tool and gets a positive response from a potential client. So she applies a strategy given to her and gets a positive response from a client. Good for her. So what's the thinking and feeling part for her now? Now she's thinking and feeling relief that this is actually working, and motivation and confidence. Now she is feeling much more relieved as compared to the stuff that was happening in the beginning when she was doubting whether she would put this money in at all. Now she is more relieved and motivated and confident, because now she's actually following along to the tips that are actually working, and with that her level of stress has come up by a number. Here's something you would want to notice for most stable people. Hold on, let me just get my charger and then I'm going to talk about something really, really important. Do not go away, don't you dare go away. Charging the laptop. Alright, so I was talking about the fact that whenever you're designing an emotional curve, whenever you're designing an emotional journey map, you are never going to be in a position where the user's mindset goes from feeling frustrated to the top. It's always going to be one step up, maximum 2 steps up. So it's always going to improve one by one. Unless someone is bipolar, which is also fine, the user's mindset is never going to go from here to here immediately. You need to add a couple of steps to make them happier, to make them more frustrated, and just going from up to down. You have to have a couple of steps. They're not going to go from here to here in the matter of a millisecond. So you have to plan about that. So now they're relieved and motivated and confident that the strategies are actually working. Now that they are relieved, this card goes from number 3 to number 2. What is the next step that happens? After consistent effort, she secures multiple high-paying clients and actually gets successful. Oops, I feel like we messed up. We've added another card, copy paste it, and we're going to add it over here. This is where the person is actually feeling great. You want to change the color back to something even lighter. And at this point, after consistent effort, what's the action she's taken? After consistent effort, she secures multiple high-paying clients and establishes a steady workflow. After multiple attempts, she secures high-paying clients, right? And what is the thinking and feeling now? Now she's actually thinking about, this is the career that I've always wanted. She's empowered, she's successful, and she is in control. Now she's thinking, this is the career. Now she's actually successful at what she's doing. I've always wanted, and she is feeling empowered. I'm pretty sure you could write this in a better way if you wanted to. Empowered, successful, and in control. That is exactly what we want for the user. And this is the final part of what this person is thinking or feeling. Of course, you can take these cards, sort of make them wider if you wanted to, adjust the way they are styled, but their actual flow is sort of going to be the same no matter what you do, right? So this is the whole process of the emotional curve. So it goes from here to here to here to here to here, and it sort of goes in a curve. Never has it happened, or and for the most part, that the user has just seen a screen and they've gone to just become happy. So they've gone from a hopeless position to a very good successful position, and this is going to be the emotional journey map for our fictional product, right? This is going to be the emotional journey map, and you can do this for any Apple, Google, YouTube, any site, website, app that you want, and you can design a similar emotional journey map knowing your ideal customer. With that has been the simplest explanation of emotional journey maps that I could give you, or anyone could for that matter, on YouTube or on any other platform as well. Let's now talk about the fourth and final part of user research that is really hard to come across, which is actually, hold up, are we live? Yes, we have a couple of comments as well, and the comment that I'm going to talk about is, yo, have you tried Spline? This is from Sam. I have tried Spline. Maybe there'll be some tutorials in the future, maybe there won't be. This video is not about Spline. I don't want to get into it right now because you will get a rant from me and we'll just get distracted. So up until now, we have covered user personas, empathy maps, and emotional journey maps. The next thing that we're talking about is a user journey map, which is also a simple template that you can find from at the bottom. So just go over here and search for user journey map. Now that we have a user journey map, we're going to import this as a simple template. We're going to drag this over here, and we're going to get started. So this user journey map is good for walking a mile in the user's shoes and plotting out the problems and goals the users have. Now that we know who the user is, now that we know how the user is going to work, now we can actually walk a mile in their real shoes and plot out the problems that the user is having. Let's get started with that. So just to get you started, you can change this image if you want to. Simple stuff. Let's add the user's name, which is always, surprise Maya Patel, because why not? What is the age? Age is 29. Do not get surprised. What is the occupation? We have been talking about the occupation. It's freelance UI UX designer. What is the location? We've talked about this as well. It's Delhi, India. I'm sorry, I'm not capitalizing stuff. Don't get mad at me. What's more information about them? They left their agency 2 years ago for a freelance career, right? What's some other information? Another bit of information is she's tried job boards, networking, cold outreach, but has failed in every single one of those. So has tried job boards, networking, cold emails, and has failed, right? So this is also a really important part of who the user is. Once we have figured this out, now we're going to talk about user needs. What high level needs does the user have that they're willing to fulfill right now? So what is their needs? Their needs are, they want a reliable method to find and secure clients. They also want a way to stand out in a crowded market, and they also want clear pricing strategies to avoid undercharging. So they want three things. Number one, they want a reliable method to get clients. What is another thing that they want? They want a way to stand out, become the expert. What is another thing that they want? I'm sorry, bad grammar. Clear pricing strategy and negotiation strategy. So they want clear pricing strategy. All of this is really good stuff. Now we figured out the top 3 user needs. Next, we're talking about what is the mindset of the user when they're engaging or using your service. The mindset of the user is, I love designing, but hate the fact that I can't get clients, hate the fact that I've always got to chase clients. I want to get a system that brings them to me so I can focus on what I do best, right? So their mindset is, I love designing but want a tool to bring clients to me because I hate chasing clients. This is the user's mindset. You can add a couple of supporting links, which are going to be the Dribble profile of the designer itself. You can add a couple of other links such as the Behance profile, and you can add the portfolio website as well. Portfolio website. And now we're going to talk about the most complicated of complicateds, weirdest of the weird, user journey map. Let's get started. This is sort of weird, and I know it's weirding you out and scaring everyone at the same time. Let's try to break this down. So, number 1, user actions. What action does the user take during each step? Goals and experiences. What are the goals and experiences? What are the feelings and thoughts, pain points and opportunities? This is the first row. The second one is awareness, consideration, acquisition, service, loyalty, blah blah blah. Let's get started with the first section. When they are aware of the situation, what is the step that they're taking? Let's just get that question clearly handled first. So when they're aware of the situation, they're browsing job boards, they're watching freelance success stories, and they're just getting jealous, right? So they're browsing, when they're aware of the situation, they're browsing job boards. They're also reading freelance success stories. Let's get rid of this guy because we only need 2 for now. So while they're aware of the situation, this is what their actions are. So they're browsing job boards and reading freelancer stories. Next, what are their considerations? Now that they're browsing these stories and browsing these job boards, what are the things that they're thinking to themselves? They are thinking about comparing different platforms, Upwork versus Fiverr versus LinkedIn. I know it's a little bit unrelated, but they are comparing platforms, and they're also exploring portfolio strategies. So they're comparing platforms because they're looking at different platforms, comparing what's best for them, and also thinking about portfolio strategies. So what portfolio would make me stand out, right? So let's just get this down to 2, simplify stuff. Next, they're thinking about acquisition. Acquisition is building a portfolio, sending cold email, applying for jobs. To actually acquire clients, what are they doing? They're building a portfolio to get a client. To get acquiring clients, they're building a portfolio. They're also sending cold emails and applying to job board freelance jobs, right? So they're doing a bunch of things. Now, for the service phase, what is the service that they're providing? What is the work that they're doing? This is basically service. For the service phase, they're working with client and refining design processes. For the service part, they're working with their clients. It's amazing how I can't spell there without going through a whole thing. Anyways, they're also refining their design process, getting themselves better. They're also going through different trends, but we're just going to bring this down to 2 for now. Anyways, so What's the loyalty? So loyalty is the fifth part. What are they loyal to? Until now we've talked about when they're aware of their problem, what are they doing, what are their considerations, how are they acquiring clients, when they acquire clients, what is their service process. Next, we're talking about the most important part, and I know it seems unrelated, but stick around for me. Loyalty. What are they loyal to? When you know what a user is loyal to, now you can actually build a system where they're loyal to you instead of nothing at all. So they're following up and asking for testimonials and maintaining relationships. So they're following up for clients, they're loyal to their clients, following up to clients, they're maintaining relationships and asking for testimonials. As far as the loyalty phase is concerned, they're asking for testimonials, and also they're maintaining client relationships and also past client relationships. So they're maintaining relationships with basically everyone to get clients, right? Next, what goal is the user trying to accomplish? Let's just talk about what the user is trying to accomplish with this part. So the user is trying to learn about the different ways to get clients, right? So right now, when they are aware of their problem, what is the goal that they're trying to accomplish? They're trying to accomplish this goal that they're learning about the different ways to get clients. So they're learning about the ways to get clients. Next, what are the considerations that they're taking? So what is the consideration in their mind, and what is the goal related to that consideration? They want a stable source of income at this point. So I'm just going to zoom it here. You can change the size and color if you want to, but I'm just going to keep it at this. Let's change this to pink. What is the consideration in their mind? They want a stable source of income. Next, what is an acquisition strategy that they're using to get their goal? To get what the goal is, because this line is for the goals, what is an acquisition strategy for them? So let's just get this guy over here. Zoom in, change this color to purple, and they're basically trying to land their first consistent client. This is their acquisition strategy for their goal. So just consider this and this. Whenever you're filling out a cell, just think about this word and think about this word. That's all you've got to do. To get their clients acquired, what are they doing? They're trying to land their first consistent client. Trying to land first consistent client. Next, what is the service that they're providing with their goals and experience? So they're trying to deliver high quality work and ensuring client satisfaction. With relation to their goals, what is the service that they're providing? They're providing high quality service and ensuring client satisfaction. So basically, they are providing high quality service, ensuring client satisfaction. Of course they are. Next, what is the loyalty that they have with relations to their goals? And this is really important, because this is the point where you're able to tell if your product is going to be a success or failure with this specific audience. So as far as loyalty is concerned, as related to their goals and experiences, they're building a reputation and getting repeat clients, right? So they're loyal to the fact that they need to build a reputation, get repeat clients. Build a reputation and get repeat clients. With that said, we've at least listed out one of each, and you can take the time to detail all of these as much as you want. Next, we're going to talk about feelings and thoughts and also use these emojis to express ourselves. What is the awareness when their feelings and thoughts are considered? So right now, when they're browsing job boards and learning the ways to get clients, they are curious, but also they're overwhelmed, because they're browsing these different places, but also they're overwhelmed with all of these different ways. So curious and overwhelmed. We're going to get rid of the emojis that we don't need for this purpose. So if a person is both curious and overwhelmed, what are they thinking? They're sort of in the middle of everything, right? We're just going to copy and paste this guy. They're also curious, but they're also overwhelmed, so they're 50-50 right now. Next, what is their consideration while doing the feelings and thoughts? So their consideration right now is excited but uncertain. So they are excited about what we're doing here, but they're also uncertain. So let's just do excited and uncertain. So they are a little bit excited, but they're also a little bit uncertain, which is sort of getting in the middle. Next, what is their acquisition strategy with feelings and thoughts? As far as their acquisition strategy is concerned, their feelings and thoughts about their acquisition strategy is that they're nervous about rejection. So right now their acquisition strategy is about their acquisition strategy. They're very nervous, right? So they're nervous about rejection. Next, what is their feeling about the service? So right now they're nervous, and I feel like for nervous we're going to use this guy. Let's just get this right here. Next, what is the service what do they think about the service? So they're confident, but also they're cautious, which is the way you should be, by the way. You are confident about their service, but also you're quite... Yes, Hasib is asking if this live session will be on the channel. Yes, this side live session will be available on the channel, but only for a little while, so don't miss it, because we've got a couple of cool membership thingies coming on this channel, and you probably will miss it if you just wait around. So don't miss it. Don't put this off, right? Check it out today, check it out tomorrow, because who knows what happens next week, Hasib. All right, they're confident about their strategy, but also they're thinking about a little bit of the nervousness. So they're confident but also cautious about their acquisition strategy. Wow, I can't spell anything now. TIOUS. If my spelling at this point is just laughable. Now, what is their feeling about their loyalty? They are accomplished and motivated, right? Right now that they've gone through all of this, now they're loyal to the feeling of being accomplished, and also they're motivated, if that makes sense. Alright, so with that, let's do a couple of feelings. This is confident and curious and cautious, but also accomplished and highly motivated. Next, we're talking about pain points. So what's not working? What causes friction? How many people does this affect? On a scale of nuance to showstopper, how bad is this pain? What is their awareness, right? So for the awareness part, they have... For the awareness pain points, they have too many options and not sure where to start, right? So let's just get this orange guy in here. What is their current pain point as far as awareness phase is concerned? They have too many options, not knowing where to start. Next, what are their considerations with the pain points? So let's just copy this guy, get this thing down here. They're unsure about which strategy is best for them. Unsure about which strategy is best suited. Next, what is their pain point as far as the acquisition phase is concerned? For the acquisition phase, they have low response rates as well as pricing confusion. So that's there because they don't know low price, high price. Sometimes clients don't come in at all. So they have low response rates and they have pricing frustrations. Next, what are their pain points regarding their service? Right now, their client communication has issues, and sometimes a scope creep occurs. Scope creep is basically when client says you have to design a landing page, but the landing page later on has enough content to fill up 2 websites. So the idea in the head of the designer was this big a page, and it actually becomes 3 website long single page. So that's basically scope creep, more work than is said in the headline, and that just snowballs. If you've felt it, you'll know what I'm talking about. Right now there are and scope creep is basically a client communication issue. Client communication issue and scope creep is also common. If you've seen my shorts where I'm designing basic phone UIs and talking about freelancing stories from back in the day, you'll know exactly what scope creep is. Because if you haven't yet, just check out my shorts, because they're super duper cool. You'll also become a super duper cool person. Anyways, next we're talking about their loyalty and their pain points with their loyalty. So right now they struggle with long-term retention. For the client loyalty, they struggle with getting the clients to stay long-term client retention. This is a struggle with the client loyalty. Now we want to talk about the good parts, the opportunities. What are the opportunities with the current phase? So for as far as the opportunities is concerned, what are the opportunities in the awareness phase? Currently the opportunities are for us as the person who's designing the tool for them, we can provide a clear roadmap for client acquisition. Knowing everything that we know about this user, we can provide a clear roadmap for, with whatever way, tool, service, whatever you want to do, for client acquisition. Right? So if you just provided them with the right roadmap, their problem would be solved. This is an opportunity for us. Next, what is the consideration that we need to have for this opportunity? The consideration that we need to have is we need to offer case studies and make sure they know the right success paths. So the consideration that we need to have over here is to provide trustworthy case studies. Next, we're talking about what acquisition opportunities we have. As far as the acquisition is concerned, the opportunities we have is to create templates and guides for outreach and pricing. So we obviously need to create templates and guides for outreach and pricing. Not prosing, pricing. Next, we're talking about service opportunities. So as far as service is concerned, the opportunities we have is we can teach them effective communication and project management. We can teach them effective communication with clients, because this was becoming a scope creep issue. Communication and project management, so that they don't have many cases of scope creep, right? What's the loyalty opportunity that we have? As far as loyalty is concerned, we can encourage referrals and community buildings to get client loyalty. We can encourage referrals between clients and a community of clients as a whole, right? With that said, you guys, now we have the awareness, the consideration, the acquisition, the service, and the loyalty while talking about all of these different elements. This is the user journey map of the user. And with that said, this is the simplest explanation of a user journey map that you can find on the internet at its present state. That is user research at its most basic, world's easiest level. And we've talked about 4 of the most important user research elements, which are user personas, empathy maps, emotional journey maps, and user journey maps. I hope you liked this video. Before going away, I would like to point out we have a super secret Discord group if you don't know about it yet. The link is going to be in the description of this video, and we've got a special dashboard. Wow, I haven't seen this stuff now, but we have a dark dashboard challenge going on where people design dark dashboards in 30 minutes or less, and it's super duper fun. So just do not miss it. Go join the Discord group, link in the description. If it isn't yet, I will add it. in the pinned comments and description of this video. It's a super secret challenge and the deadline is extended to a week, so there are special prizes. Just go and check it out over there. I will see you in the next video tomorrow, 9 p.m. Indian Standard Time or 3:30 p.m. Greenwich Mean Time or GMT. I'll see you then tomorrow, same time. Goodbye, good night, take care, and keep on designing. So just keep on designing. You'll